Hey guys, welcome back to Cruise Blog. This is Allie, and today we're going to be talking about 23 things that you absolutely cannot bring on a cruise. Let's get into it. Universally, one of the most annoying and stressful parts of planning for a cruise is packing. Sure, we all obsess over what to toss in our suitcases, but how often do we think about what not to put in our suitcase for a cruise? Each cruise line has its own set of stuff that's banned on board, but there are some common themes. The list includes obvious items like drugs and your own alcohol, but in combing through all the rules and regulations, we've come across a few that will make you scratch your head. Here, we've compiled some of the funniest and strangest things that you can't bring on a cruise. Throwing stars. Ammunition and weapons, including toy guns, knives, and other toys that look like weapons, are prohibited on board all ships. We chuckled at the specific mention, though, of throwing stars, as well as crossbows, swords, brass knuckles, and spears. There goes our dreams of hunting zombies and battling ninjas at sea. Number 2 include toasters and microwaves. Your cruise ship will offer more food than you can possibly eat in one vacation. There's absolutely no need for you to bring either of these items on board, but even if you wanted to, cruise lines don't allow them. They also ban other devices with heating elements such as hot plates, kettles, and coffee makers, but hair styling appliances are permitted. Number 3, hoverboards and segways. Whether you classify these items as cutting-edge fun or technological geekery, for safety reasons they're not allowed to be used on board a cruise ship. However, some cruise lines will allow you to bring them on their ships for use in port. When that's the case, they're almost always required to be stored in your stateroom, so keep in mind that bringing these could cause your digs to feel a bit cramped. Number 4, handcuffs. Honeymooners beware. Nearly all cruise lines explicitly ban restraints, including handcuffs. We're sure your intentions are strictly on the up and up, but we advise leaving this handwear at home. However, we found no mention of other adult items on cruise lines' naughty lists. 5, fireworks. In general, cruise lines ban explosive and flammable substances, including fireworks and torch-style lighters. Some flammable items are permitted though, particularly in terms of styling products like hairspray. Number 6 includes drones. Trust us, this one makes us really sad too. Aerial shots of a ship at sea are enough to make any traveler or photography enthusiast swoon, but for safety reasons, many cruise lines don't allow drones on board. Some will allow passengers to bring them for in-port use only, with prior permission. It's worth noting that many port facilities also ban their use. Number 7 include candles, incense, and hookahs. As you're likely to hear during your ship's muster drill and ad nauseum throughout your voyage, fire is the single biggest threat to any vessel. For that reason, cruise lines across the board prohibit the use of anything that involves a flame, except cigarettes and certain types of lighters in designated areas. Number 8, sporting goods. Many ships prevent cruisers from boarding with sporting goods. The ones that do allow them usually restrict passengers from using them anywhere on the ship though. Some vessels allow bicycles, hockey and lacrosse sticks, surfboards, skateboards, skiing equipment, baseball bats, boogie boards, tennis rackets, and pool cues for use in port only. You'll want to check with your cruise line for specifics on this one. Number 9, fish and meat products. Our first thought when we saw this was, why would anybody want to bring fish on a cruise? Many sailings, particularly those in Caribbean and Alaska itineraries, offer fishing excursions during which passengers might want to return home with whatever they catch. Most ship-sponsored tours of this type will offer to properly package and ship everything home for you because, as several lines have noted, you won't be allowed to bring your fish back on board with you. Number 10, cannabis and CBD oil. We mentioned in the intro that drugs aren't allowed, which should come as no surprise to anybody, but with marijuana recently having been legalized in several states in the US, we figured this was a good one to mention. Cannabis and CBD oil aren't allowed on your cruise, even if you have prescription to use them for medicinal purposes. Other illegal drugs and narcotics are also not allowed. Number 11, baby monitors. Frankly, we're not sure why anybody would need one of these considering young children aren't allowed to have their own cabins. Either way, they're prohibited on some ships, likely because of their electronical components and the signals that they emit in order to function. So no, you cannot leave your small children in your stateroom and leave them unattended with the baby monitor. Number 12, kites. While kites aren't intended to detach from their strings, accidents do happen and this can lead to ocean pollution. Plus, foreign objects flying near the ship can affect visibility for the captain and other officers on the bridge, which is one of the same reasons why drones also can't be flown from the ship. Some cruise lines will allow you to bring kites on board for use in port, though. Number 13, paint. Paint is flammable, which poses a hazard under certain conditions. Plus, if it opens or falls into destructive hands, it can cause damage to the ship, which creates headaches, both figuratively and literally, thanks to fumes, for crew and your fellow passengers. Number 14, extension cords and surge protectors. Plugging too many electrical items into one outlet can cause shorts and start a fire, which is why nearly all cruise lines have banned extension cords. Power strips are permitted, but they cannot be equipped with surge protectors. Anyone found to be traveling with banned electrical items will likely see them confiscated upon embarkation. Number 15, musical instruments and boom boxes. Imagine trying to relax on your hard-earned cruise while the people in the cabin next door practice the trombone or blast horrible music on the balcony right next to yours. Without special permission, you won't be able to bring on your own radio, boombox, or musical instrument on your vessel. Luckily, there's plenty of music to be heard throughout the ship, so you don't really need to bring your own anyway. Number 16, pets. Cruises are unfortunately not pet-friendly. Lines do not allow pets on any of their ships, with the exception of pre-approved service animals, for which special arrangements must be made to allow for feeding and relief accommodations. Another exception is Cunard Line's Queen Mary 2, which is equipped with an onboard kennel for passengers on transatlantic sailings who are traveling with their cats or dogs, and these kennel spaces must be reserved in advance. Number 17 is catapults. This one confuses us a lot. Unless you're planning some sort of medieval naval battle, we don't quite see the need to bring something like this on a cruise in the first place, but our best guess is that perhaps it's to squash the temptation to launch any objects overboard. Number 18 is pool toys. Onboard pools are usually really small. Taking up valuable watery real estate with pool noodles, rafts, and floats would not be fair to other passengers. With that in mind, keep your inflatables at home, and this includes inflatable pools for kids, but most cruise ships are equipped with children's splash areas for the littlest cruisers anyway. Number 19, helium balloons. In addition to its flammable properties, helium can quickly take balloons up, and away if they aren't properly secured outdoors. When they finally pop or deflate, what's left behind is a bunch of ocean trash that's harmful to wildlife. Number 20, blenders, holiday lights, and power tools. While we respect your morning smoothie routine, festive decorating prowess, and always be prepared mentality, these are just some of these specific electrical items that cruise ships won't allow you to bring on board. Leave the blending and repairing to the crew and consider other ways to decorate your cabin. Number 21, shoes with wheels. Although roller skates and inline skates are allowed for use in port on some ships, most vessels will not allow you or your children to board with sneakers such as Heelys that have retractable wheels. This type of shoe is less popular now than in previous years, but it still remains on the do not bring list for several reasons. Number 22 is a streaming device. We only saw this listed for one cruise line, but it caught our attention for sure. With the prevalence of streaming services like Apple TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu, travelers might be tempted to cruise with streaming devices like Amazon's Fire Stick or Google's Chromecast that attach to their in-cabin TVs. As with any of the items listed in this article, you'll probably want to check with your cruise line first, but definitely something to be aware of. And finally, number 23, metal detectors. Ships are made of metal, so a metal detector would go nuts if used on board. Plus, they emit electromagnetic signals that could interfere with equipment used by the captain and other officers on the bridge when trying to safely operate your vessel. So just leave them at home. All right, everybody, those are the 23 things that you absolutely cannot bring on a cruise ship because they are banned. Comment below if there are any other funny items that maybe you've tried to bring on a ship or you've seen others try to bring on that inherently cannot be brought on board. Thanks for tuning in to Cruise Blog today, everybody, and be sure to like and subscribe so you can be notified every time we have a new video. Until next time, happy cruising.